Unauthorized opinions expressed on the internet would be censored.
We are live. We are live. This is real. Welcome back to Unauthorized Opinions, UOPod.com. Like, share, subscribe.
It's pure propaganda and it's super cringe, by the way.
I literally went to the polls with nothing in mind. I saw a can of orange soda in the parking lot. And I was like, yeah, there we go. An unopened can of orange soda just chilling in the parking lot. I was like, yeah, I got to vote for Trump, dude.
Your podcast sucks. It's mental, mate. It's absolutely mental.
I'll be honest, I thought it was kind of offensive when you talk so much about the Loch Ness Monster.
Political climate.
And Andrew, treat yourself, okay? Especially if you start, I don't know, getting in good with homeless people.
Unauthorized Opinions, streaming everywhere at uopod.com. Cockle doodly doodly doo, man.
Now we can drop another one too. So we'll grab one more basket, two hands. Yep. We're gonna put it right here. Yep. Lower it slowly into the wood, don't want to burn. Way too good. And then we're just gonna hit our fry timer right here. Right there. Yep. Now we're waiting for that duty timer. So now when that duty timer comes up, again hit the timer, take it out the oil. Good. And then out the oil. Shake. Back into the oil. And then our last one is going to go up, and we'll give that a few seconds. I'm going to make a few more fries.
That's good. You got let's make some more. Got about 10,000 people out there. That's a big crowd, huh?
We used to have super sizes in this country. We loved our super sizes. Now we can't have them. Now we can't have super-sized McDonald's anymore. Kamala took it away. Unauthorized Opinions, welcome back to another episode. Trump's at McDonald's. We're pumped about that. Just for the sheer fact that we love McDonald's. How could you not? They're one of the only brands trying to lower prices for you. Their coffee is lower than anywhere else. It's really trying times. When McDonald's has to cut prices, we're in trying times. Welcome back to the podcast. uopod.com, patreon.com/uopod for loyal subscribers to get loyal bonus content. We've got so much to get to. We've got another interview with a volleyball player who refused, straight up refusing now, to play against the transgender player at San Jose State University. We brought you one before. We're bringing you another, and you are seeing her on Fox News now. Her name is Sia Liilii. It's actually a much more Samoan Hawaiian name than we can pronounce, so we're just calling it as it's Sia Liilii. We will get to her in a moment, but we've got so much to get through here. There's so many things happening in the world, and a lot of them are focused around the presidential election. A lot of them are focused around culture up here in Canada, and there's still things. If you wonder if you're from America or the UK, we had Louis Brackpool here last week. Now, he was astounded that you can say things freely in Canada, even though we do have hate speech laws. He was still astounded. We went to an apple pie place, famous for its apple pie. It's off the highway. It's called the Big Apple, I believe. And needless to say, there was lots of lots of non-Canadians there, and we were talking about it. He was afraid to talk about it. He was afraid to say it openly because in the United Kingdom you might get arrested for that. Now here, we are just behind on different things. Not every country is the same in its wokeness. England has its speech. We're just behind on other things here. And one of those, as an example, was on The Dragon's Den the other day. That's a TV show that it actually precedes Shark Tank. The English version was called Dragon's Den. And then there was Shark Tank in the U.S., and there's Dragon's Den in Canada. Of course, you don't want to watch it. You don't want to watch Dragon's Den in Canada, and you probably wouldn't have wanted to watch it before this incident. So what this video is that we're about to show you is two French Canadians, Quebecois, sort of my people. They come up to the investors, as they would on Shark Tank, and they say, hey, we've got a product for you. It is a bubble tea product, and that's a Taiwanese, I believe, product. And there's one guy on Dragon's Den who is not happy with it. Let's take a look. Let's see what we can see. He basically says that what they're doing by not being, is it Taiwanese or Hong Kong? Taiwanese, I believe. Since they're not Taiwanese, they can't sell bubble tea.
My name is Jessica.
And my name is Sebastian.
We are here to...
Jessica and Sebastian. So this is the guy here that's going to have a problem with it. He is I believe, a Chinese guy. Or a Korean guy. No, wait, he's a Chinese guy, and he's from the television show called Kim's Convenience, in which he plays a Korean guy. So let's remember that in the realm of cultural appropriation.
Disrupting or disturbing bubble tea because it's something that's
Why?
very
There can
near.
be new takes on things.
Sure, but I'm looking at
not
I'm
everything
looking
has to
at
be
these two guys.
traditional.
No, but then there's also an issue of cultural appropriation. There's an issue of taking something that's very distinctly Asian in its identity and quote unquote making it better, which I have an issue with.
So you can't make something better if you're not from. There can be no Asian fusion. There can be no Tex-Mex. You cannot change it. And he says Asian identity, which is weird because Indians are Asians, North Koreans are Asians, Mongolians are Asians. You see what I'm getting at? This is not just an Asian thing. There's no North American or Western thing that you can make a claim to. This guy's making crazy claims here that you can't change something or even sell it if you are not of the continent or the race.
But I want to hear the pitch before I formulate an opinion. And
Oh boy,
so
that's one way to start.
Yeah, that's one way to start. A little heavy there. But okay.
But it's not an ethnical product anymore, not with the popping bobas. So we took the version, the Asian version, and we made it with the fruit, with juice.
The popping boba is new. I can't say I've had that. It definitely is an experience when you're having it. And do you manufacture this yourself?
No, so we have 3 partners, but they are exclusive partners. So they only make my bubble tea.
Where?
In Quebec.
What made you guys get into this business?
I was like looking at the data about bubble tea, and the popping boba was just rising every.
The Popping Boba. This guy sounds like George St. Pierre. This is on CBC Gem, by the way, I'd like to point out, which is, CBC, for those of you who don't know, is paid for by the taxpayer. And then their app, their premium app, is CBC Gem. This is the most publicity they've ever had, for sure. Because it's a free app using taxpayer dollars, giving you shows that nobody likes. But in addition to shows nobody likes, they'll give you cultural appropriation or the complaints of that. Let's skip forward to see if we can get to the point where this guy starts complaining about the fact that, there we go. We can just see it.
A little word after the boba.
clearly you're doing very well. What respect is being paid to this very Asian drink that has blown up around the world? And is it in your teas? Is it in your product development? Who is on your staff? Who is on your cap table that is providing that for
It's
you?
a good question because our best partner is in Taiwan, actually. So they make all the recipe, all the boba. We work really hard. We travel to Taiwan. We speak with them. They are part of our team. It's really important for us. So that's the best part. That's the cultural part of our product.
So they go to Taiwan, they get the recipes and the product from Taiwan. So the product is authentically Taiwanese. Will it be enough for him to say, it's okay for you to sell this? Because what he asked was insane. He asked, is there people of the race that created this product involved in your production? Are there people of that race involved in your sales, your marketing, your team? Which is insane. If you were to be like, let's say that white people invented, Burger King or something. Does every Burger King around the world have to have a white person? You'd be insane to claim that. You'd be insane to go to Taiwan and say, are you consulting white people about this Whopper? And I know we talked about McDonald's. Are you consulting somebody from West Virginia who wears overalls most of the year about this slop burger you're eating? Are you consulting them? Let's see if that explanation was enough for him.
Your can, and I am looking for anything that tells me where boba came from. And where boba came from is Taiwan. You know, I started this venture company for a lot of reasons, but really primarily to uplift minority entrepreneurs. And not only do I feel like this is not happening here, but that I would be uplifting a business that is profiting off of something that feels so dear to my cultural heritage. I want to be a part of bringing boba to the masses, but not like this. So for that reason, I'm out.
Thanks.
Respect that.
Respect that.
So that's insane, and I'm wondering if now that he came out and said that this is effectively racist, which is an insane thing. I want to be part of things for minority entrepreneurs, so that just means non-white, obviously, which is an insane thing to say. I want to help people based on racial grounds. It doesn't matter who they are as long as they're not white, is what he's saying. And I wonder if that will scare off the other investors, even though we've got black guy, Indian woman, white woman, all these different cultures and races on this panel. I'm wondering if that will scare them out of it because for some reason the one guy has said that it's racist.
Not sure I'm the right partner for you. So for that reason, I'm going to be out.
I like it. I want to help you build the distribution out in the US. That does take money, for sure. And it takes a team. And that's what you really need to build here. I will offer you...
So I don't want to give it away or else CBC will copyright strike me with my own tax dollars. But obviously, she's giving them an offer. So she's not as cucked as he is. She works in beer. That lady, I forget her name, unfortunately, that's not on purpose, but she works in beer, I know that, and obviously she's not afraid to make money because the Chinese guy who plays a Korean guy on a Canadian TV show says it's racist to do that with his bubble tea. You can't serve bubble tea. We used to love our Chinese bubble tea, but now that these white Quebecers are doing it, they're pieces of crap. We can't let them. Let me know in the comments if my impression sucks or not. I might keep doing it anyways, but this is an insane thing. But this is where Canada is in terms of our woke culture. But maybe it's just the CBC, maybe it's just public broadcasting where a Chinese guy who culturally appropriates convenience stores of South Koreans thinks that it's not okay for some white Quebecers to work with Taiwanese people. He really moved the goalpost there. Are you working with these people that make the products? Okay, you are. But on your can, does it say that it's from Taiwan? You have to pay homage to your employees, I guess, when you're making a product. Completely insane things, but that's where Canada is behind in terms of culture and where we're sucking at. Just a small example. I want to move on to Kamala Harris and everything for a little bit. We're going to progressively keyword get into where we are going into the interview with the volleyball player. So our next clip is from dear old Hillary Clinton. This was posted by friend of the show, Val Venus, former professional wrestler. This is Hillary Clinton, a short clip. We might be missing context, but I think we have enough context here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Hillary Clinton saying that if we don't have censorship on social media platforms, we're going to lose control. And we'll give her a best case scenario, a benefit of the doubt, the best we can on this clip. Let's take a look.
Platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
Let's watch one more time.
If the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
Second time there, obviously, without video. That's scary in itself. Just the Hillary voice playing to you. That's what would have happened, I think, if she won in 2016. If Hillary won in 2016, you've got morning messages played over giant PA systems in your town, like hurricane warnings, where Hillary Clinton wakes you up in the morning. Good morning, America. Good morning, my beautiful Americans. Don't forget to praise your first female president today. Thank a trans neighbor. And don't forget, if you say the wrong thing, the authorities will be there to beat you and arrest you. So please, if your neighbor says something out of the ordinary, if they have a complaint about their government housing, if they say something disparaging about illegal immigrants, that mistake would be in the announcement. If they make a mistake about illegal immigrants, then don't worry, the authorities are on their way. So go ahead and shine the red laser at the offending party. The Gestapo will be on their way. That's your Hillary Clinton presidency. She's on TV every day. You hear radio commercials of her. Everything is just made to be in her voice using AI. Coming up next week at Denny's, you can get a Grand Slam combo for $3.99. Don't forget, this combo and this product was brought to you by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party. We love our first female president. Only for 6 days at Denny's. Can you get this Grand Slam meal at such a low price? Thank you, Hillary. That's what it would be like if you were under Hillary Clinton. And so what she's saying, the best case scenario of what she's saying is, if we just let anyone say hateful and mean things on the internet, it will have a bad psychological effect on children. So we better censor things. We better moderate and remove things. Of course, there are two answers for that. One is you're insane, lady, and who decides what is hate speech, who decides what gets to be taken down or is infactual. As we've already seen for years and years now, we can't trust anyone to decide what is real and what is truth and what is not. Because everybody lies, everybody also tells the truth and thinks that they're the one who is the only one telling the truth. If we let somebody who Hillary Clinton would hire decide what the truth is, did Hunter Biden smoke crack or did he smoke meth? Was he with prostitutes? Were they just his friends? Can you prove that he paid for these prostitutes? Can you prove that was actual crack rock and not methamphetamines? You say the wrong thing, you're going to jail. That's what the reality is. You say something disparaging about the Democrats, and maybe you're wrong by 2%, maybe you're wrong by 50%. Maybe you say Joe Biden's classified documents were in his garage, but you didn't specify that they were inside of a cardboard box. Jail time. The other answer is just don't let kids on social media. I think we all as adults can say that they don't need it. When you were 13 years old, did you need a Facebook wall? I don't think you did. I think you survived. I think people were bullied and fat shamed just enough without social media as children. I think girls made it clear who was dressed like a slut, and guys made it clear which guys they thought were gay without social media. So that in and of itself is perfectly reasonable to say ban social media. That is why that could be the slogan, the presidential campaign slogan. Ban social media because we already know who the sluts and gays are. We already know. Stacy and Chad are already letting everybody know. Do we want to move on to Kamala? Hurricane Kamala. Voter ID. I think we could skip that. Nah, let's play it. Let's just play it without context for the fans. Let's do it for the boys. Sundays are for football and the boys.
Is that youth support? I don't think that we should underestimate what that could mean. Because in some people's mind, that means, well, you're going to have to Xerox or photocopy your ID to send it in to prove you are who you are. Well, there are a whole lot of people, especially people who live in rural communities, who don't. There's no Kinko's, there's no Office Max near them. People have to understand that when we're talking about voter ID laws.
Oh my God.
Be clear about who you have in mind and what would be required of them to prove who they are. Of course, people have to prove who they are, but not in a way that makes it almost impossible for them to prove who they are.
These people can't prove who they are. They don't have printers. They don't have scanners. They don't have photocopiers. They don't have phones. But of course you have to prove who you are. Just be careful about who you are trying to make prove who they are. But you do have to prove who you are. But they can't prove who they are. Don't you understand? Isn't she crystal clear? That's too easy. Everybody who's in the country is dumb and they don't have cell phones is what Kamala is saying. And they don't know how to work printers. They don't have copy machines. They have no way of getting ID to anywhere. When they buy alcohol and cigarettes, they don't have IDs. When they get their driver's license, they don't have a birth certificate. It's just impossible. One thing Canada has on the United States is paper ballots, and it's insane to imagine an argument where you think that's not fine. If the grandmothers at the voting stations and the polling stations here can cut up enough 3-inch pencils for people and gather all the votes and empty the cardboard boxes that we put them in. If the 86-year-old with glaucoma can do it here and Justin Trudeau can win 18 times from that, then I think the United States government should be okay with doing that, because if they can cheat on paper, they can cheat, on Xerox machines. All right, so this is going to be the lead-in story to our interview. What we've got here is a new soccer team, and it's in Boston. Terrible name, by the way. They call it Boss Nation FC, which sounds like a late 90s Euro trash DJ. Boss Nation. Maybe they're just the song, Zombie Nation or something. They came out with a commercial. It's decent. It's for their new soccer team. Just want to remind you of that again. This is the commercial that caused controversy among the trans.
Boston, the city of champions, a legacy filled with trophies, banners, rings, and balls. Old balls, new balls, steel balls, cold balls, even goat balls.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Boston loves its balls. But maybe there are too many balls in this town. So let's add a new chapter to our city's legacy. With new idols, new dreams, and a new league to cheer for, the National Women's Soccer League. For every person, in every neighborhood, across every square mile. This is our city, our new team, our new nation. We are Boss Nation.
So when you compare that to White Dudes for Harris, which was an attempt to be edgy and appeal to white guys in a sort of weird Gen X way, and it's a horrible commercial, you think about what can sort of the same message be in a better way, and this is it, right? Like, this is an actual decent commercial. The idea behind the commercial is, how can we get men to care about women's soccer? I mean, we can't really, but how can we do it? And a pretty funny premise. Old balls, steel balls, cold balls. You get Tom Brady in there. I'm hooked. Boston Red Sox, Boston Bruins. Boston's a very tough city in regards to sports fans. Maybe there's too many balls. That's kind of funny. I mean, I can't lie. It's not going to make me watch the soccer, but at least it would get me publicity because it's pretty funny. Then at the end, you show young lesbians, old lesbians, because those are the ones that care. They want to play in the sport, yada, yada, yada. All is well and good. If I saw that commercial, not in a news story, I'd be like, that's pretty funny. What is this team? If I didn't catch the part where it said it was the soccer team, I would say, what is this team? What was this for? Tom Brady was in it. The Bruins were in it. What is it for? But we can't have the fun. We can't have a good commercial that's for women. The league is for women. So obviously, maybe we got too many balls. The more I say it, it's kind of a funny commercial. But they had to apologize. This is my article for Blaze News. They apologized and removed the commercial. Boss Nation Football Club posted a 1-minute video on X the other day that featured cameos from Brady and the Boston Bruins. The video focuses on Boston's championship culture and highlights the trophies, banners, rings, and balls of the city. Old balls, new balls. That's pretty funny. Come on now. Are we orange because of Halloween? That'd be sick if we were on the website. But there was a problem. A non-binary sounding woman who is the same reporter who had a problem with people wearing MAGA hats at a Caitlin Clark game, came out and complained. This person said, whose name is Frankie. It's got to be Frankie, right? The thing that bothers me most about this absurd campaign is how turfy it comes across. At a time when trans women are being excluded from the sport at every level, is too many balls really the right tagline you want to go with here? Oh my God. Turfy meaning trans exclusionary radical feminists. So even feminists obviously don't want men in their sports, so they had to come up with a term that the feminists were actually hateful. So basically, just even more disturbing looking women than regular feminists who can, they could have a few short haircuts, but even those people are too right wing for them. We need to come up with a term to exclude actual feminists, and that is TERF. So they deleted the campaign video and made a statement that said, while we hope to create a bold and buzzworthy brand launch campaign, we missed the mark. We fully acknowledge the content of the campaign did not reflect the safe and welcoming environment we strive to create for all. And we apologize to the gay and trans community, in particular, for the hurt we caused. So girls can't have a commercial purporting to show their own sport. They can't have a joke to create hype for their own team because men have a problem with it. Isn't this insane? We spent the last 6 years, maybe since 2015, 2016, saying, the sexism, the racism, and all the stuff people are complaining about, the wokeness, 99% of it is based on fake stuff. There are real sexists and racists out there. We all have to compromise our statements by saying that, but almost all of this is fake. The hate crimes are almost all proven fake. All the anti-trans stuff, it's proven fake. What they're talking about is surgeries for kids. But then comes along the trans people, which are, of course, the men pretending to be women. And they say, actually, we need to make sure that the misogyny stuff is actually real. And they say, women, you can't have commercials. You can't joke. You can't poke fun at men at all. Because this is what this is. This is men becoming offended because women mention that they have balls, which is an insane thing to say. Because if you don't have balls, why would you be offended? So obviously this is men who dress up as women, who have testicles, and are getting offended by this. So the women can't have their own commercials. They can't have their own sports. That's real sexism, just to say for no reason, these bitches can't have a commercial that talks about balls. That's the insane stuff. And there's just as many insane people in the comments. One person said, just change the name and fire the people who were involved in approving this advertising and it will help. So they apologize for this and they still want them. It's still not enough. They have to change the name. Another one said, now apologize for the name. Why do you have to apologize for a bad name and actually choose a name? At its face, defining women on the existence of men is just a really weak marketing play in 2024. I remind you that nobody's going to watch this if you don't give them a reason to. Nobody's going to say, I need to flick on that women's soccer game. You have to entice them. It's called advertising. If I'm starting a cricket league, if I'm starting a croquet league, if I'm starting a outdoor ball hockey league, and people don't know about it, which they probably don't know about this new women's soccer team. Sorry to tell you, they probably don't know the league exists. You have to advertise, but you cannot do that if you are offending men in dresses with testicles, is the most insane thing you have to say. Now, in that spirit, the women at the University of Nevada have said they are not going to play against San Jose State University, which has the male athlete. Of course, they are the fifth team to do this because there is a man on the San Jose State University team. We brought you the story a couple weeks ago, before the Foxes. Us and Outkick, which I guess is owned by Fox, so technically Fox, imaginary producer. But we brought you the interview with Brooke Slusser a couple weeks ago. Now we've got another interview with the girls from Nevada who are outright refusing. What happened was, the girls say, we're not going to play against San Jose State. The school then comes out and says, actually, the game is going to go on no matter what. But if the girls choose to sit out, we won't be punishing them, which is insane because you're saying it's fine that you don't want to play, but actually it's not fine that we don't play against this transgender person, which is an insane statement, because if you're on an NCAA team and on scholarship, if you just choose not to play for some unknown reason, for some protest you're doing, you're going to be suspended. You're there to play. We're paying you, essentially. The taxpayer is paying you to play. But then for them to say, it's okay if you sit out, but we do have to play this team to be in accordance with the law, that's playing both sides of the coin. We now have an answer from the Mountain West Conference Commissioner, which is the NCAA division where these girls play in. Her name is Gloria Navarez. We wrote about this on Blaze News, of course. Gloria Navarez says she's not quite sure what the science is behind this, so she can't really give an answer. Navarez said in a recent press conference that the situation breaks her heart because the girls on the teams are human beings. Young people, student athletes on both sides of the issue are getting a lot of national negative attention. Why is that? She doesn't know. She says, it just doesn't feel right to me, she continued, according to the Associated Press. She said she isn't sure about the language or the science about the issue. I'm learning a lot about the issue, she says. I don't know a lot about the language yet, or the science or the understanding nationally of how this issue plays out. The external influences are so far on either side. We have an election year, it's political, so yeah, it feels like a no-win based on all the external pressure. You know, the student athlete in question, of course, we can't name the guy who's on a women's team. The student athlete meets the eligibility standard, so if a team does not play them, it's a forfeit, meaning they take a loss. So they don't want to be mean to the girls because they know the girls are right, but they're not brave enough to actually stand up for anything because the state in California in which they play, a lot of the teams, is insane, so they have to follow their insane laws. But this commissioner is a coward, and even the San Jose coach is a coward. Now, so what the player on San Jose State University told me is that they have meetings with the school, and the school is like, how's the transgender person doing? His name's Braden, goes by Blair. How is Blair doing? Is Blair safe? And when the other girls have something to say, they say, let's not speak for him. Let's not decide his gender for him. That's nobody's business but his. So they center everything around and care about only the guy playing on the girls' team instead of the girls who have to play with the guy and be in the change room with him, confirmed in the change room. Now, here's what the coach said. His name is Todd Kress. He's a coward as well. I welcome him to come on and talk about it. Ring me up, Todd. He says, I know it's definitely taken a toll on many of them. They're receiving messages of hate, which is completely ridiculous to me. When we had our first forfeit, there was a lot of heartbreak, and now we kind of come to expect it. But we know there's certain programs that may forfeit. It still does hurt our student athletes when we don't play a match, but I think they've come to accept it a little more, and I think that it's a very unfortunate thing to say. What's the unfortunate thing here, Todd? Was it Todd or was it Josh? What's the unfortunate thing here, Todd? Why are they receiving hate? Receiving hate for doing what? For saying what? Against who? Why aren't we pressuring the boy to get off of the girls' team? Aren't we saying, hey, a guy dressed as a girl who believes he's a girl? Harsh, I know, but we are in harsh times. Why don't you get off the team? You're ruining it for the girls. If you can't make the men's team, that's a travesty, but you're not actually a girl. It's sort of like something you would have to say to a 6-year-old. I'm sorry you feel this way, Braden Blair, but you're not actually a girl. It's fine that you want to dress this way. Nobody's saying you can't be who you are. Nobody's saying you can't dress a certain way, talk a certain way, act a certain way. But the reality is you are not a girl. You are a boy. So therefore you can't play against the girls. You can't be in the girls' change room with the girls. You can't do things that every other boy can't do with girls. And this is what you have to say to adults these days. Well, they say you're not letting them be their authentic self. So who cares what the women think is what you're saying? Who cares what the women... We don't care about women. We care about a guy with a mental illness issues. We have to adhere to him. Do we say to the anorexic person, yes, you're skinny? Do we say to the person with the eating disorder, it's okay to keep eating? No, we don't. We do not adhere. We do not reinforce the problem. We say, hey, Billy or Trinity or Sally or Bobby or Ezekiel or Muhammad, anybody of any race, we say, hey, we're going to help you through this, but this is what's true and this is what's not true, and that's the end of it. So the girls at Nevada are saying no, and that's who we had an interview with here, which is Sia Liilii. She corrected me on how to pronounce her name. Liilii, I think, is what it was, but I'm not Samoan or Hawaiian. I'm too stupid to pronounce that. She is one of the girls on the team, and she is saying no. She is saying that they refuse to play. The team came out and said, hey, you're actually playing, but if you want to sit out, that's fine. And why are these girls so strong? If you watch the UFC, you watch MMA, you see Hawaiian fighters, you see Samoan fighters, they are insane in a good way. They are relentless. They're ferocious. They don't stop. They have iron skulls. You can't knock them out. They have perseverance bred into their culture that is unmatched by many other places in the world. So these people from I believe it's the Polynesian Islands is the word I'm trying to think of here. These Samoans from Hawaiians and these Polynesians are so, they're tough. They stand for what they believe in, which everybody should, of course. From Sweden to Denmark to Australia to Korea to Japan, stand up for what you believe in. But my theory, which I kind of touch on the interview, is that they've got one girl from Malia Pilamai. We've got Mele, and I'm going to butcher all these names. Taumapeo from Hawaii. We've got Nicanora Clark from Hawaii. We've got Tea Maeva. I think I'm not sure where she's from. We've got Sia Liilii from Hawaii. We've got Cohen McCullough from Hawaii. And we've got Ambry Hanahano from Hawaii. And we've got a majority team here who are Hawaiian, Samoan, Polynesian girls from that ethnicity who are just like, no. And you got to applaud them. And it sounds so cringe in some ways that we have to say, you go, girl, right? Because we never actually had to do that. All the other times where people said, you go, girl power, sexism, whatever, it was like, not really happening, right? But all of a sudden, we've got actual guys. And this is what happens when other men don't do anything, is that creepy dudes and guys who, have problems in their lives and whatever you want to attribute to the person who thinks that this is okay, you can't always expect women to stand up for themselves in a physical sense against a man. But we are seeing that there is a group of women at the Nevada University who are willing to stand up for it. And I think it has something to do with their upbringing and where they're from and their cultural toughness. Just like the way the Japanese don't stand for woke shit for the most part. I don't think these Polynesian women, these Hawaiian women are going to do that either. That's just my opinion. We'll hear from Sia Liilii here with her own answers. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Here is our groundbreaking interview before Fox News from a few days ago, I hope. All right. Sia from Nevada, you are a senior, correct?
Yes, I am.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I know this is probably a crazy time for you, and a lot of people want to get your opinion on what's happening. You're the captain of the team, I was told, I think?
Yes, I am. I'm a co-captain.
Okay, so for those of the people who don't know that are watching, Nevada Wolfpack, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, the girls got together, they held a bit of a vote or had a meeting, and you guys decided as a team that you didn't want to play San Jose State University, which of course has a male player on it, if we're being completely honest. I'm not going to ask you to go out on a limb and maybe say something that you'll get in trouble for, but in most people's eyes, it's a male player, and you guys released a statement. Can you at least walk us through how this came about? You would have been the fifth team to forfeit a game against San Jose State University in the NCAA. Can you walk us through how you and your teammates got together to make this decision?
Yeah, of course. So we got together as a team and we just talked about the issue, and everyone voiced our opinions, because I think as a team leader, it's important to let everyone know that they have a voice. And the vast majority of us just decided that, hey, this isn't right. We need to protect women's sports, and we're going to forfeit. So from there, we kind of put together a letter that we sent over to our administration, and we came out with a statement. Unfortunately, our university decided not to back us, and they decided that they're going to keep going with they're going to have the matches scheduled. But I mean, although our university hasn't supported us in this decision, I know our Governor Lombardo, came out with a statement, which was really reassuring. Just last night at our Utah State game, Tulsi Gabbard, Sam Brown, Dwayne Mullen, like they all came to our game in support and just let us know that we do have people behind us who are supporting us. And I think that meant the world to a lot of us.
And so in reference to your school releasing a statement, now I wrote about this today I read it. Would it be a contradiction when they said, I believe they said that this statement by the team was put out without their consultation? Am I misreading that? Or it sounds to me like you guys reached out to them and now they're saying that they weren't a part of it. Did you just say, hey, we're doing this, and then they responded with, we're not okay with it? Or are they fibbing a little bit? Can you explain that?
I think that we tried to go through like the most accurate channels. We didn't want to blindside the administration with coming out with how we felt as a team. But I think that was just a way for the school to distance themselves from the statement that we have as a team have put out.
Yeah, and we've seen that from a couple of the schools, I believe. And they had mentioned that nobody's going to be punished if they skip the game. Has the majority of the team declared that they're still not going to play? Are you guys going to bite the bullet and play anyways and sort of in a protest manner? Or how's that going to work? Are they going to have to call up? I know another one of the schools said that they called up some junior varsity players. What's the situation for that game going to be if they're still going forward with it?
Well, I know that the school is still going to hold the match, and it is at the discretion of our team if we will be there or not. And I guess you'll just have to see on October 26th.
Well, I'm interested to see what happens there. I looked at your team's roster, and you're Hawaiian, right?
Yes, or I'm from Hawaii, but I'm Samoan.
Yeah, and aren't there a couple other Samoan girls on the team who are from Hawaii? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of Polynesians on our team, actually.
Yeah,
it's pretty nice.
What I'm trying to say here is people from that area are generally quite tough. I watch a lot of sports with them in it, and so I was like, okay, this is adding some credence to the people from this region are very tough people and stand on their morals a lot. So it starts to make a bit more sense. Now, I did read I think it was about a month ago now, that one girl on your team, I forget her name, but her mother spoke out. She gave an interview about not wanting to see her daughter play against San Jose State University and their male player because of the dangers about it. So were you guys sort of mulling this over? Because I had sort of predicted that you guys might be a team that joins in on this. So when did you guys start noticing, take notice of this as an issue and start seeing like, hey, we're playing them in a few weeks and this might become a problem?
I think, like, of course, we all saw that my teammate's mother decided to be very public about the way that she went about projecting her opinion, which I think she's entitled to. So, yeah, it's been a topic for our team for a while now, but I think that us as young women have grown a lot and matured a lot in knowing that we can go and get our own information and not trust just one source.
And something I've noticed since I've been covering that I want to ask you about in regards to standing up for all of this, have you experienced or have you noticed that there's actually a lot of men who push back on this and say, hey, it's not fair that you're not letting this person compete against you, or you don't want to compete against you? Or against them. Have you noticed any of that yet? I know it's pretty recent, pretty fresh still, but have you been facing any pushback like that? And what would your opinion be to a guy who takes issue with you doing this?
Actually, I haven't got much pushback.
That's good.
Surprisingly. Yeah. It's just been a lot of support, which like I hold near and dear to my heart because I mean, this was something that was really tough for my teammates and me. Like personally, I thought that this was something that was very controversial, but it's so important to me and I'm so passionate about this that I felt the need to speak up.
I asked Brooke a similar question from who plays with Blair, Braden, Bladen, who knows? And she said that she decided to speak out about this because it's very important to her, obviously, that women are allowed to have their own sports. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I think it's crazy that we have to discuss this, but she said that she was always sort of a person who was outspoken like this. Do you feel the same way? Have you always been an outspoken person? Have you always, been the one to speak out when people were a little bit afraid to?
Yeah, I've always been this way where it's just, I'm studying it too in college. My minor is in communication. So I think just having those tools and just knowing that I have the opportunity and the platform to do something that I know is the right thing was just like, this is clear as day.
Yeah. And I asked that question because I feel that sentiment a lot of wanting to be feeling the need to be the person to speak out. And I wonder, is there something about volleyball? I never played volleyball. Don't ask me why about my height. Don't ask me. Okay. We'll just say I'm 6'4" for the purpose of this interview.
Okay. Yeah. I totally believe you, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Is there something about volleyball players where this is more frequent, the type of woman who plays volleyball? Because we don't see it in some other sports. We don't see it people speaking out in boxing, for one. We don't see anybody standing up to it in I don't know what other sports. I don't think it's happened in basketball. In wrestling, we don't really see it, but we've seen it in swimming and volleyball. Is there something about volleyball players that makes you guys different?
I wouldn't say different, but I have met some very passionate and just amazing people through this sport. So I think the volleyball players are definitely a special bunch, but I'm pretty biased. So,
so when you guys come out with this statement and then you see what the school says, how disappointing is that? Does the school communicate back to you? Because I know, again, for San Jose State University, I was told that the school basically has these meetings. They center around the person in question. They want to know how that person's feeling towards everybody else. And it seems like the schools aren't really caring what, the girls that they are providing. I assume most of you are on scholarship. And so they're basically paying you. And they don't seem to want to give credence to how these girls feel. How is the school communicated directly to you guys? Is there a liaison? Is it the athletic director? And how does that make you feel when they're sort of just we can't really back you up. We're going to choose somebody from another school?
At first, it was really frustrating because I don't know if you read it anywhere, but the first statement that they came out with, we intend to play all of our scheduled matches, including the San Jose match on the 26th. That came, I think, about 4 hours before our in-state rival against UNLV. And we were at pregame meal before going into our usual game ritual routine. And I'm sitting at the table and my phone starts blowing up and I'm like, what the heck is happening? And everyone's asking me about just this issue. And I was just like, I have something else to worry about. I have a game in a couple hours. I was so not locked in, which was really tough for me as an athlete because this is something that I've been passionate about my whole life. And I worked hard to get to the place that I am in now. And just to know that the university didn't acknowledge that, they didn't acknowledge the fact that we're the team that's going to play against this person was really frustrating. And it was just the way that they went about it was not, I don't think, was okay. But they did have a meeting with us the following week and apologized. And when they came out with that second statement, they made sure to let us know that nobody would have any repercussions if we chose not to play. And they let us know that the statement was coming out.
So isn't that's like a backhanded compliment in a sense? You're not going to be punished, so we kind of know what you're doing is right. But also we're going to publicly say that we stand for diversity and we love the equality and inclusion of all of this. So they're kind of playing both sides, and in a sense you can't blame them. But do you think is that disappointing? I don't want to put you in a tough spot, but I would be disappointed where it's okay, so on one hand you don't think you think if I forfeit on a personal level I won't be punished, But on the other hand, you think it's awesome what's happening, because if you were just sat out, if you're just like, hey guys, I don't want to play today for no reason, you'd be punished, I would assume. But if you sit out for this reason, you're not punished. That's kind of sending a mixed message.
Yeah, I don't really feel comfortable commenting on that. I just gotta leave it at that.
Smart girl. I think what you're doing is very admirable, because I think, and there's so many sports where people don't want to speak up against it, and people have been begging, Leah, for this. People have been begging for girls to stand up together and say, we're just not going to play, because that's the only way that it's not gonna perpetuate and go through all these different leagues. First, it's this league, or it's this conference, and then it's going to be all the other conferences, and they're going to copycat each other, for better or for worse. It's either going to go one direction, or it's going to go the other. So people have been begging, like, girls, why don't you just stop playing? And now girls are actually doing it. And it sucks, because especially for you, and it sounds like I'm beating this over your head, but I'm trying to be nice. It's your senior year. You should be focused on, either graduating, going for a job somewhere else, all these different things that are supposed to be on your mind. But instead you have to worry about, people being mad at you for not wanting to play against a guy. I don't know, Leah. I don't know if I'm crazy here, but I think people are very thankful for you for doing this, because you're one of the few people that are standing up, and I think that you deserve the praise. And I can tell that you're doing a lot of interviews now, and your voice, you're getting tired, you're wearing it now, and you're just like, how come I have to talk about this so much? It shouldn't be this way. And I just think it's good.
Well, thank you for that compliment.
You're welcome.
But I mean, it's bigger than just me. It's bigger than just this one person on this team. It's the future of women's sports. And I think, although it's something tough to go through my senior season on, like, this is something that I'm going to remember forever. So just knowing that I had an opportunity and I took it is all worth the while.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it's going to be one of those things where you can put this down as one of the markers, and it's kind of sad that it has to come to a sport where, somebody got hit a spike in the face the other day. It's happened in other states. In lacrosse, it's happened. But I guess, sometimes it doesn't happen, like we saw in certain Olympic sports, but that's a different topic altogether. Is there anything else you want to say to the people watching who might disagree with you? What's like your couple of sentences you can say as to why you don't think it's fair?
I just believe that a woman deserves the right to play on that court, and that it's just an opportunity that's been taken from a woman. We've come so far. I mean, back in the day, women couldn't even play a Division I volleyball, like, on the court. We couldn't vote. We couldn't do any of this. And Title IX was made so that sex-based discrimination didn't happen. And that's exactly what's happening today. So I just want fairness for women, and for women's sports to be for women.
Yeah, we've come a long way. We've come a long way, and certainly somehow circled back to the simplest form of what I would call, like, legitimate sexism. So thank you for doing this interview. Good luck with the rest of the press you're doing. I hope you guys have a great rest of your season, and I can't wait to see what happens on the day of. What's the date of that match?
October 26th.
All right, just in time for Halloween.
Spooky.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Of course.
Turn it up, Jordan.